My girlfriend texted, "I'm transferring your house to my name." My mom said, "That sounds fair." I replied, "Let me think about it." Then I changed the locks and left her suitcases on the porch. Her screaming fit when she couldn't get in. This whole __ show started 6 months ago when Caroline moved in with me. That was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 was assuming that someone you've dated for a year shares the same understanding of boundaries and property rights as a normal person. I own my house. Nothing extravagant, just a 3-bedroom ranch I bought 5 years ago when the market was reasonable. I put a lot of effort into it. Refinished the hardwood floors, updated the kitchen, built a deck out back. It's not a mansion, but it's mine, fair and square. My grandpa left me enough for a good down payment, and I've worked hard to pay off the mortgage early. Caroline and I met at a mutual friend's barbecue. She was funny, outgoing, gorgeous, and seemed down to earth. The first 6 months were great. She was at my place most of the time anyway, so when her lease ended, it made sense for her to move in. We agreed she'd pay a third of the utilities and handle groceries instead of rent, since I owned the house outright. It seemed fair back then. Looking back, I should have seen the red flags. She'd forget to pay her share of utilities. Groceries slowly became my responsibility because she was always short on cash, despite her solid job as a dental hygienist. She'd buy expensive stuff for the house without asking. Throw pillows that cost more than my car payment, or bizarre art pieces that looked like a drunk toddler made them. Whenever I questioned it, I got the silent treatment or tears, but nothing prepared me for what happened yesterday. I was buried in spreadsheets at work when my phone buzzed, a text from Caroline. "Just talked to my mom, and we think it's best if we put the house in my name too. Since we're practically married anyway. She says it's only fair since I'm investing in our life together." I nearly choked on my coffee. Investing? The woman hadn't paid utilities in 3 months and thought Target throw pillows counted as investments. Practically married? We never even discussed marriage. That I read the message 3 times, hoping it was a joke. Nope. She followed up with, "Mom's friend is a lawyer and could draw up the paperwork this week." So exciting. I just sat there stunned. Then I replied, "I'll think about it." That was generous, because what I was actually thinking isn't fit for polite conversation. That I called my buddy Mike, who's a real estate attorney, and put him on speaker while I drove home early. "She wants you to put her name on your house?" He laughed so hard I had to move the phone away. "After 6 months, and she's contributing nothing?" "Buddy, that's what we call a giant red flag factory. So legally, she has no claim, right? Not unless you made some kind of verbal promise or she's been helping with the mortgage, which it sounds like she hasn't. Not a dime. Then tell her to pound sand, but do it carefully. If she's been getting mail there, she's technically established residency. You'll probably need to evict her if she refuses to leave, even though she's never paid rent and we never had a lease. That's actually in your favor here in Texas," Mike said. "Since there's no formal rental agreement and no rent paid, she's legally a guest or licensee, not a tenant. Makes things easier. Just document everything and handle it by the book." By the time I got home, I had a plan. Caroline wouldn't be back for hours. Thursdays were her nail appointment and drinks with the girls, so she usually rolled in around 7 or 8. First, I gathered her important things, documents, jewelry, electronics, and packed them carefully in boxes. Then I brought her suitcases from the garage and packed essential clothes and toiletries for a couple weeks. Next, I called a locksmith. The guy was surprisingly understanding. "Happens more than you'd think," he said as he changed all the locks within an hour. While he worked, I photographed every room in the house to document its condition. I also saved our text conversations showing that no ownership promises were ever made. Then I called my security company to change the alarm code and remove her from the authorized users list. After that, I rang my neighbor Chuck, a retired cop and solid friend since I moved in. "Hey, might have a situation tonight. My ex might cause a scene when she realizes she's being kicked out. Need me to hang around?" He offered. "If you don't mind. Just a witness in case things go sideways. Not asking you to get involved." "No problem. I'll stay close. If things blow up, I'll call the on-duty guys." By 6:30, everything was ready. Her suitcases and boxes were neatly arranged on the covered porch. I left a polite note explaining that our relationship was over, her things were packed, and she had 2 weeks to arrange pickup of anything left. I included Mike's contact info for legal questions and even a check covering her shared utilities for next month as a goodwill gesture. Then I retreated to my backyard shed with a cooler of beer, a lawn chair, and my phone ready to record whatever might happen. At 7:42 p.m., the show started. I heard her car pull up, the door slam, then quick footsteps on the porch, followed by the sound of keys jingling, and then confusion when they didn't work. What the hell? More key jiggling, then pounding on the door. Mark, open the door. My key isn't working. Silence. Then, presumably, the moment she spotted her suitcases, followed by the unmistakable sound of someone reading a note and absolutely losing it. Are you expletive? Kidding me? The pounding grew louder. Open the goddamn door right now. I stayed quiet in the shed, recording everything. Chuck was on his front porch across the street, pretending to read a magazine, but clearly keeping watch. Then the phone calls began. I let them go to voicemail, which only made her angrier. I know you're in there. You can't do this to me. This is my house too. That's when she started circling the place, trying every door and window. When she reached the backyard, I had a front row seat through the shed window. She was still dressed for a night out, tight dress, heels she could barely stand in, stomping around my yard like a T-Rex at a tea party, screeching into her phone. Mom, he changed the locks. He put all my stuff outside. He can't do this, it's illegal. Pause while her mom presumably responded. I don't care what he can legally do. Tell your lawyer friend to sue him. She yanked at the sliding glass door, peering inside and shouting my name. Then she spotted me in the shed. Our eyes met through the window. For a split second, silence. Then, why are you hiding in the shed like a psycho? I raised my phone to show I was recording, took a calm sip of beer, and said nothing. That sent her into orbit. She charged the shed like a rhino, forgetting her ridiculous heels, and face-planted spectacularly into the grass halfway there. The string of obscenities that followed could have made a sailor blush. Why now? Several neighbors were peeking out their windows or stepping onto porches. Caroline noticed the audience and switched tactics. Help! Someone help me. He's abusing me. He threw me out with nowhere to go. That's when Chuck strolled over from his porch. Evening, folks. Everything okay here? He asked, in his calm, retired cop voice, making it clear he was just a concerned neighbor. No, he locked me out of my house, she snapped, jabbing a finger toward me. Your house? Chuck asked mildly. Your name's on the deed? Well, no, but I live here. Mark that true. Chuck called out that I stepped out of the shed, phone still recording. She's been staying with me, but the house is entirely in my name. I've asked her to leave and packed her essentials. I handed Chuck the note I'd left her earlier. He skimmed it and nodded. Seems reasonable, ma'am. I'd suggest you collect your things and come back later for the rest, once everyone's cooled down. This is expletive. My mom's lawyer will destroy you both. Chuck let out the weary sigh of a man who's seen this exact situation too many times. Ma'am, you're causing a disturbance. If this keeps up, someone's going to call the real police, and that's not going to help anyone. Something in his tone must have finally broken through. She glared at both of us, then stomped off toward the front yard, dragging her suitcases while still muttering curses. I'll be back with my lawyer. Enjoy your little power trip while it lasts. She shoved everything in her car with surprising strength, then tore out of my driveway. Nearly taking out my mailbox, Chuck turned to me. You okay, buddy? Yeah, thanks for the backup. No problem. Just document everything in case she tries anything. You're handling it the right way for a non-paying guest. That was last night. I slept better than I had in months. This morning, the text barrage began, alternating between threats and desperate apologies. You're going to regret this. Mom's lawyer says I have squatter's rights. Then, please, baby. I'm sorry. I just wanted us to feel more official. Please let me come home. Followed by, my name deserves to be on that house after everything I've done for you. I miss you. The girls say I should give you space, but I know we can fix this. I didn't reply to any of them. Instead, I forwarded everything to Mike, who confirmed what I already suspected. She has zero legal claim to my house. The squatter's rights comment made us both laugh. Her mom had apparently been feeding her nonsense about adverse possession. Mike explained that only applies when someone occupies property without permission for years. In Texas, it's a minimum of 10 years, and you've obviously never abandoned the house or given her any ownership rights. He also clarified that her mom's ideas about common law marriage were completely wrong. Common law here requires both of you to publicly present yourselves as married, which you didn't, and living together alone doesn't create any property rights. Around noon, the flying monkeys arrived. First, her sister called to tell me I was heartless for putting Caroline out with nowhere to go. I reminded her that Caroline has a mother, a sister, and plenty of friends she can stay with, not to mention the $15,000 in savings she bragged about last week while arguing that I should pay for her vacation. Then came her best friend, Tiffany, showing up uninvited. When I answered the door, without inviting her in, she said, "She's devastated, you know." "Yeah," I said. Devastated that her plan to take my house didn't work. I corrected her. It wasn't like that. She just wanted security. Security means contributing to bills, saving, or planning a future together, not trying to take my biggest asset after 6 months of rent-free living. "You're twisting everything," Tiffany snapped. She loves that house. "She loves that it's paid off," I replied. "There's a difference." Tiffany huffed. "Well, she needs the rest of her stuff. She can schedule pickup through my attorney. I'll need 24 hours notice. This isn't a legal case. It's a relationship." "It was a relationship," I said. "Now it's a legal issue because she threatened to take my house." Tiffany stormed off, but not before telling me all our friends think I'm a jerk. Considering those friends were mostly hers, I didn't lose sleep over it. The rest of the day brought more flying monkeys. Her mom called next, alternating between threats and excuses. I let her talk herself out, then calmly said all communication should go through my lawyer. "A lawyer? Really?" she scoffed. "Caroline wanted to involve lawyers first," I reminded her. That shut her up fast up EY evening. Her dad called, polite, reasonable, and clearly embarrassed. "I've told Caroline what she asked for was inappropriate. She's staying with us for now. I'll come by this weekend for the rest of her things. She won't be with me." Finally, someone sensible. We agreed on a time. Before hanging up, he sighed. "Between you and me, she gets this from her mother. You did the right thing." 3 days later, he came, cleared out her stuff, and even helped move my coffee table back to where it used to be. "She won't bother you again," he promised. I've made that clear. And he was right. The call stopped. The social media meltdown faded after her own friends started questioning her story. Apparently, Tiffany had spilled everything, including Caroline's demand to be added to my house deed. Even her supporters couldn't defend that. The post disappeared soon after. Since then, life's been peaceful. I've reclaimed my house, tossed the overpriced pillows, replaced her art with my old movie posters, and turned her unused home office back into a gaming room. My utility bills dropped 40%. Turns out she took hour-long showers, left every light on, and kept the place at tropical humidity. Friends I hadn't seen in months started coming back around. Caroline had been subtly isolating me. "Mark's too tired. He doesn't like that restaurant." Last night, my buddy Dave came over. "Man, we were worried about you," he said. "She was a stage 5 clinger. Why didn't you say something?" "We did," he laughed. "Remember when Tony joked about her rearranging your furniture? You defended her." I remembered. "Love makes you stupid," Dave grinned. "Hey, everyone gets one crazy. It's the dating tax." Maybe he's right. I paid mine that if I hadn't shut this down fast, it could have gone much worse. Biggest lesson learned? When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Caroline showed her entitlement long before the house demand. I just didn't see it. Yesterday, I got a certified letter from a real attorney from her father's firm, stating Caroline has no claim to my house, was only a guest, and will stop all contact. Her dad clearly stepped in. I poured myself a whiskey, deleted her number, and considered it a $1,200 lesson in utilities, 6 lost months, and 1 awkward talk with my neighbor who heard her lawn meltdown. Worth it, because the alternative was losing my home entirely. But just when I thought it was over, Caroline came back with 2 friends and a rented truck, trying to reclaim her things while I was at work. Luckily, I'd installed cameras, and Mrs. Peterson across the street doesn't miss a thing. The police arrived before they could break a window. Her excuse? I refused to return her stuff, except her dad had already cleared it all out under supervision. She was detained, screaming it was her house, while her friends realized they were in real trouble.